sisters and misses and misters, here's your daddy-o with the sounds to go. No shucking, no jive, and I'm telling you, your music's arriving. Ha, ha, what I say.
Hey, I'm Largo. This is Alaire. That is Wilhelm, and he's my buddy and keeps me on the straight and narrow.
Just enjoying a nice mug of Wampa before the show starts.
As one does.
So good.
We've got a wonderful, wonderful show tonight. Let's introduce our cool guests, shall we?
Oh, yeah.
All right. There they are.
Oh,
Hey.
We're live. How's it going, guys?
what's up?
Hey guys.
We're very pleased and honored that you've made the appearance on the Infinite playlist.
Finally, we got it together.
We did.
We were going to create a separate category for the infamous playlist, but that's for another show.
You won't have to be on that.
Scuba's no, yeah. Scuba from his days with the Chasing 80s gang has quite the notoriety as a toy vintage extraordinaire scavenger and seeker and all-around cool dude. And we've had the pleasure of getting to know Leslie through their new show, The Scubas, where we see their adventures. And we finally get to see the power behind the man, the one that keeps him sane and fairly out of trouble.
Yep.
No.
So
She put up with me.
the internet gremlins are. Yeah, I was going to say I'm a little wiggy, so if I wig in and out, we'll take the con. But.
We'll take the helm. She's so cool that she drove with me a 4-hour round trip last night to buy some vintage Motu. That's how cool.
Awesome. That's great.
That's love, baby. That is love.
Right?
I got a steak dinner out of it. What can you say?
Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
I've done
I know
done
what
a lot
about
worse.
And Leslie is a collector in her own right of strawberry shortcake and some other fun stuff. What are some other things you're into for the kids at home?
I got lots of Grogu and Yoda. Yoda is one of my favorites. So have lots of the different Star Wars things with that, and it's the vintage stuff. And then you just add Grogu on top of that.
Yep.
Oh, you know
What
what?
other crazy stuff do you do?
Oh, I travel.
Yeah.
I travel for a living and send people places. Love doing that.
Hey,
She has more adventures
good work. You
without
can get it. Very cool.
That could be a good tip for my Wampa juice. I could add a little Grogu and maybe give it a little kick.
There you go.
But yeah,
my cousin was a travel agent for many years and loved it because she got to go see a lot of resorts, test them out before she would recommend to her clientele. Fun job.
Yep, it is fun.
Cool.
Yeah, somebody just went to Greece not long ago.
It was
Nice.
an exciting.
I'm like,
Yes, it was
hey,
fun.
if you find a vintage toy shop in Santorini, think of me.
I do look ahead to see if there are toy stores wherever we're going, or and then I always keep my eye out because you never know. You just never know. It's fun exploring.
That is a neat thing about enjoying vintage toys is the fun and just joy of finding something in the least expected place, whether it's a like an antique mall or a flea market or what have you. So
you just kind of stumble upon them, and it's amazing.
It's true.
At Joe Fest, I found more South strawberry shortcake.
Who would have thought?
3 booths, and she's like, right, I'm headed to the bar up front with the girls. We're gonna hang out and drink and have a big time. Call me if you see any strawberry shortcake before you buy it, because I just threw down on them. And I was like, oh my God, you've only been in here like 20 minutes. What do you mean? She's like, I'm out. I'm good.
Well, they are scented, so she probably picked up the scent like a bloodhound. She's
so.
like,
Because she goes, no, I on the back wall. And I'm like, we're on the front wall. How did you loop all that already?
You started
It was
the
impressive.
back more front.
It was impressive.
So what adventures are coming up for the Scubas? I know there is some of the camp are going to DFW, some are going to Joe Fest. Which one are y'all headed to, or do you know yet?
Yep, we know we're Joe Festing because several of the Brits are coming over to experience it. Yep, so we're gonna kind of have like a shabby con at Joe Fest.
Yeah, I'll be there as well. So I hope to.
Awesome.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
That'd be good.
Definitely meet up.
Oh yeah, I saw today where like it's actually going to be bigger. Like they've got enough vendors. They're outgrowing that mega room they're in. There's going to be another one. So
Ooh,
I'm curious to where that'll be. Yeah, this
I am too. Yeah, knowing the layout of it, it's like
and maybe next year I'll try a different con. After everyone had such fun at PowerCon, I was thinking about making that a destination for a future year, but there is no PowerCon this year because this will be my fourth. Yeah, this will be my fourth Joe Fest in a row, and it's a
PowerCon. That was really good.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
it's just
so
kind of hits you in the wallet a little bit more than Augusta being downtown. Downtown Columbus, you're like, streets Louise.
Although they were dealing the strawberry shortcake under the table there. That was
nice.
She was.
I bought a doll and she was
awe.
like, go up to this front. I'm just gonna walk into it. But go up to this front booth and just tell him you're a strawberry shortcake fan. He starts pulling out all these bends and was
From
like
underneath, like they're not even I've got this. And I was like, I'm gonna go sit and just watch. I should have recorded. Is what I should have done.
I was thinking it's like a secret booth. You have to, scratch and sniff the right. And this is the one.
one thing. The rest,
Yeah. She turned. She goes, "Is there anything?" Because I'm across the way. Is there anything you want? And I was like, actually, if I could tack onto her deal, I'd like to get that land speeder. Yeah.
Yeah. Bundle and save. Yes.
Very
good.
Nothing wrong with that. Well, as much as we love your toy adventures, we're going to talk music tonight.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Again, my apologies. My signal's a little wiggy, but Will, I'm going to let you take over from this point because I can see my signal thing is laughing at me. It's the Guatemalan Gremlins.
Oh, no.
Okay. Well, you got a nice playlist here and tons of stuff. Some surprising, most of it not. It all fits. It's like sometimes you look at a playlist and you look at the person, and you go, really? This is like I'm like, no, I get it. I 100% get it. This makes sense.
We're all over the place, much like our travels.
Yeah.
We're
And
headed
this
back to
first
Europe.
song,
Oh yeah,
I mean, calling Dr. Love is exactly where I thought we'd start off because
nice.
I could just see Pete doing this, and this is why. Yeah, he's got the cure you're thinking of.
Do you have the platform boots and then the kabuki makeup? Are you ready to roll?
No, but I want to. I've been watching so many videos of the farewell tours at the different locations that he did. I'm like, oh, this is so good.
This is such a good song, and this is like the earworm of this list. This is the one I can't stop listening to, and we're starting
so
off
good.
with it. But yeah, it's such a good song, such a catchy chorus, And what does this song mean to you, Pete?
So, what it means to me, in a really weird way, I kind of have this, I don't know, strange link to Kiss. And it all started back in, believe it or not, my childhood town library, where they had record players and records, and so you could pop on the headphones and listen to a record. And my mom helped out at the library for a while, so that meant summers or whatever, we were there a lot.
Yeah.
Thank God we also like to read, but at the same time I was like, oh, they got record players, cool. And I remember getting out Kiss records and popping them on because of like this album cover, that just grabs you, right? And listening to that and just digging it. But at one point, my mom comes to check on us and realizes what I'm listening to because she sees the jacket and like rips the headphones off of my head, and it was the whole like, what are you doing listening to them? And I was like, but I like them, Mom,
But seriously, I never really listened to Kiss, and the imagery and like the presentation they put out versus the music, it just doesn't match. Like there's Kiss songs that I've heard that I didn't even know were Kiss songs because they're so accessible and so pop.
Yep.
This song is not, evil, tongues hanging out or anything. It's not. It's got such a
right. I think the makeup and the theatrics got them lumped into the satanic panic that was going on, but it's like that really wasn't their scene. That's they were like glam rock and disco.
Yeah, the best show. It's gonna blow your socks off. And I wish that I'd gotten the chance to see them tour. A friend of mine from high school, he's a big member of the Kiss Army and has seen them umpteen times, kind of like what we've seen another artist that's coming up in the playlist. But I'm like, just to have gotten to see them once, that's in my
Was that one of those things where, like, because your parents disapproved, you wanted to listen to it more, or
I think so, yeah. And then they, you got into the 80s and they did the whole, the makeup's gone and more mainstream. Of course, I'm buying their tapes and listening to those. Oh yeah.
Good what about stuff. You, Leslie?
Now, were you a fan of their era when they dabbled in comic books and trying to get on telly and doing the Meeting the Phantom and all that jazz?
I didn't really get into that. No, it was always just the music. Still is the music.
So, Leslie, were you happy when Pete suggested that he comes out during the wedding to this song? No.
That would have been
Dr. Love, paging Dr. Love, and then Pete comes out doing a
little. Oh man, can we rewind? We need a time machine.
You can renew your vows. It's not too late.
No.
And then you go real heavy with Kylie.
I was gonna say. You can't be a friend of retro blasting and not have an appreciation for Kylie.
Right. And I can thank Michael for smacking me like, you remember? And she's done so much more since then, and she still is kicking ass. And I don't, start, with Madonna and that kind of female pop. I call, like, I have Kylie Minogue's station on my Pandora. And it's like my getting stuff done music. I love listening to her music. And then like the Freemasons, I've kind of, from Kylie, I trickle off into other avenues that are just as cool, and I drive a lot too, for what I do. So this is good road music just to put on and throw those miles behind you.
Oh yeah, definitely should have been the queen of pop. Certainly is in the UK, and I remember some of her early stuff. I always enjoyed it. I got a soft spot for her because she was on Doctor Who, and it is like, oh yeah, I remember her. And then I started picking her music back up. It's like, oh, she's awesome. She's still awesome.
Yep. Still awesome. Just dropped a new album this in 2023, and it's like I said, it's kick ass.
And she looks
great.
I think she's
she even did a tour in Vegas and still going strong.
Yep.
Leslie, are you also a Kylie fan?
You know what? I listen to her mainly when I'm in the car with Pete. I enjoy her songs. I don't know many of them, but yeah, she's a really good artist.
Yeah. We should clarify. We're going through the Pete list and then we gave 5 and 5. So this is his and hers tonight.
That's right.
And of course, nothing is truly yours or the others. It's all kind of mixed together.
It's community property, really.
Yeah. So do you get to play with the Purple Pie Man, or do you have to leave that on the shelf?
I actually, when she was in Greece, I bought her a boxed Purple Pie Man. So yeah.
Nice.
Are you talking about the peculiar Purple Pie Man from Porcupine Peak? Or is it another Purple Pie Man? I'm just curious. There's several. My sister was a huge Strawberry Shortcake fan, and she had the cartoon, and we watched it all the time. So that was always in my house. The peculiar Purple Pie Man from
That's right.
He sounds just like
he does. That was very good.
Yeah.
Between Strawberry Shortcake and Jim, I think poor Will has been emotionally scarred by his sister. Truly outrageous.
Truly outrageous. Yes, of course. All right. So Zoo Station, you too.
Oh, it's a sick tune. I love it.
That one's good.
We were during our drive last night. This came out. I just cranked it up. We were coming back in, about 11 p.m. and starting to fade. And I'm like, Zoo Station came on. I'm like, old trucks. I mean, just that riff that it opens with.
Oh yeah.
I also think of my buddy Andy from Hollow Chronicles, because he's a big U2 fan, and he got to go see him in Vegas at the Sphere. So because of his hey, I'm gonna go to the Sphere to see him, I was like, they've already done some nights, and again, just like Kiss, I pulled up their concerts, and they start their set list with Zoo Station, which is
awesome,
amazing. And they've got the stage. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like a giant record player. In the center, it's got the turntable with the mic, and so he's singing, and that's swirling around. Oh,
that's so awesome.
Stuff.
Yep.
But yeah,
speaking of the playlist itself, we did link these songs in the description below, so you can listen to them. We also have a link to the video of the classic version of this, as well as the footage of them in the dome, where you get to see the whole video extravaganza behind them as they're playing, which is so awesome.
Oh yeah. Nice. So good.
And I do apologize, Jim. I usually do get that memo from management where they explain that, the viewer can open another tab, click that playlist, turn the volume down just enough so they could still hear us talking, and it really enhances this conversation.
Oh yeah.
So I do apologize for not mentioning it before now. So if you haven't, go ahead and do that because when we watch the replay and this airs, I always do it, and it really does make everything that much
true.
better.
And if you can't find a tab, a Diet Coke will work.
That's right.
Zoo Station was very experimental. This was where they were going out and trying some new sounds. And they were just really doing some neat stuff that was going beyond the music into how do we work this with our videos? How do we get the crowd more involved? And just fun.
Mm-hmm. This also has this whole album has a very special meaning for me because as you see, it did debut in 91. And so that was my freshman year of college, moving away from home, had just met Leslie literally the night before I left to go to school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this lovely lady's on my mind. I'm getting my ass kicked. Physics, calculus. So I had physics at 8 a.m., calculus at 9, and then I was a chem major. So Chem 101 was at 10. And I'm, by the time I get to chemistry class, I'm like, holy crap. This is fun.
So, yeah, not just a scuba diver, but a freaking rocket scientist to boot. Yeah.
I'm finally really amongst my people, right? My chem nerd, who became great friends. But so we're all crammed in, and the professor walks in, and he writes this date on the board, and we're all like, oh, I don't know, good God, let me write that down. What's that? Like the, halfway final? Is that a paper? Do we have to have an experiment for the, we're all just like, we're freshmen. So we're just like, and he goes, I want everybody to know this date. This is a very important date. And we're like, yeah, like eating it up with the spoon. And you can tell he's just like, they're all, oh God, don't kill us. And he goes, this date is when the new U2 album drops. And everybody went, oh. And honestly, that's what I remember going, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And so he would play Octoon Baby during lab, which was awesome. But that's where I was like, I'm in the right place. I'm going to be fine. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I love chemistry. We're all right.
Very cool.
Excellent.
Speaking of chemistry, I know there's some great chemistry between you two with this fun soul.
Oh yeah.
We see a lot of him in this playlist, and very welcomely. One of my favorites from back in the day, probably because of my dad. He was a parrot head, and it rubs off. But Jim Croce and Jimmy Buffett are two that you just can't help but smile when you listen to. All their stuff is just good feeling, good vibes. Schoolboy at Heart. It's almost a tearjerker. It's very deep. The lyrics are powerful. Well, all of his lyrics, he's writing from his heart. He's telling his story, very personal. Yep. What's this song mean to you when you're hearing it?
This is actually on my dive playlist. So I have an underwater MP3 player, and there's a lot of Buffett tunes on there just to keep me sane. Because when you leave this world of air and phone notifications and sirens and whatever, and you're just literally underwater, your brain, at least mine, tends to go a little cuckoo, and it just starts to freewheel spin without any kind of input.
It's quiet.
It's
quiet
so
that you just can't explain.
I mean, if you're diving the ocean, you can hear the sand.
Yeah.
Ching, ching, ching,
really?
by. You can hear parrotfish chomping coral, making the sand. So yeah, it's for diving and I'm scrubbing and I'm in there for hours at a time, I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? So I got an MP3 player, and so it's heavily Buffett.
Nice.
So this song just kind of keeps me in a chill state of mind. Plus, I love that 6-string chorus that it starts out, or a 6-string.
Yeah.
The way it, just so good. But yeah, Buffett has a big connection to the two of us, because that is the concert that we went to see in Indianapolis at what was then Deer Creek Music Center.
Night before our wedding.
Yep. So that was our
awesome.
big late. Let's get crazy with my aunt and uncle.
Aunt and uncle and a couple friends.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Big time. It was also like how Leslie's brother and I bonded, because he's a big parrot head too. So we got to do that.
So they did concerts together.
Yeah, we did. We did several concerts together when Leslie had to work.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny.
Cool. I think
the 3 of us were actually at the last concert, live concert that we went to in Cincy. He was there too, so it was a lot of fun to experience that one more time.
Yeah,
very cool.
That's awesome.
He was definitely in a league of his own. This particular song, I think, is probably his best autobiography. The lyrics are very much, it's all about his life journey. I pointed out a few of my favorites here. Schoolboy Heart represents, the childlike, youthful enthusiasm he had for everything he touched. Yep. Novelist Eye, he looked at the world and he saw it, and he's like, I'm going to make an adventure out of this. And he did. And he took us all along for the ride, like
a musical Hemingway.
My favorite.
Yes.
Yeah, very much so. I love this line. I suppose the need to focus never arose. So something like a Swiss Army knife. That's my life. I was like, whatever you needed to be, just, that's,
Frankenstein. Oh, yeah.
So I put a little blurb in here for those kids that are under, a certain age, may not be aware of Mr. Buffett. He has been around for a great long time, making great music. He sadly passed last year in September, but left behind a legacy and a family that loved him, and a lot of dogs. Loved the dogs.
Yep, a ton of dogs.
He popularized what people call island escapism. It's a state of mind when you get into any of his albums. It's like, I'm on the beach, I've got something with an umbrella in it, in my hand, and it's tasty, and I'm just loving life, and I don't know where my shoes went.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not worried.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll figure it out later.
Just got a little carefree.
Ooh, conch fritters.
That's it. And if you are a fan of the Buffett, you are known as a parrot head. So
that's right.
You'll hear us reference that a lot.
That's right.
That's it. Will, you're a resident Florida man. Surely you have some parrot head friends in your menagerie of Floridians.
Absolutely no. Actually, I'm obviously familiar with who Jimmy Buffett was, but until this playlist, had never listened to it. And it's just, it's a funny story because I was in work on my day off, kind of doing some stuff, and I put this playlist on, and the one like through line I was getting stuff done, and I felt great. It's really great, good, and thank you for that, because that's exactly what I needed, because I put it on and I breezed through everything and I got done with it. And normally, if you're in work on your day off doing stuff, you'd be kind of pissed,
Yeah.
Like, why
am I here?
Yeah, it was great. It was like, was that an Office Space where the guy gets hypnotized and then he just kind of doesn't care, because even afterward, I had to go do grocery shopping and I'm just walking through Walmart and I'm like, no, things are cool, man. This is great. Yeah, everything's fine. So really changed my mood. So this whole playlist was just wonderful.
Will's just like, I'm living and dying in 3/4 time. It's all good.
Yeah.
So definitely turned my day around.
Awesome. Yeah, you cannot, for me, I cannot help but smile when I listen to anything Jimmy Buffett. If it's on, you hear the first couple of notes of Margaritaville, it's like, all right, it's cool.
Yep.
I'm cool.
Mm-hmm.
And he has influenced so many good artists that have come after him. And it's not that they're trying to, chase that same lightning in a bottle. They're just like, I love this vibe. I want to be a part of it, and, some youngsters, whether, like Kenny Chesney or Zach Brown, Jason Mraz, there's a whole, there's like a whole genre of music that they're just in that same zone, and it's cool.
Yep. Good stuff.
Yeah. God knows we need more of that these days. This is one that was a surprise. I did not expect this one on the list. Save It for Later, The Beat.
Yep.
Fun video. Very
great song.
Very different, very new wave. A lot of fun hairstyles.
Yes. But it's in my 80s playlist quite heavily. And so a new memory to put to this song was just the other weekend, I took this lovely lady out for another really nice dinner because she was my dive safety. And I'm like, we're going to go, and went to one of her favorite places. And we hung out at the bar because we realized we really like the bar area. Like, it's nice to go sit at, a nice table, but the bar is even more fun.
Yeah.
That's where the best conversations are.
Right?
You're right.
Yeah, and the bartenders are, we're all having a good time. And so Leslie said, I'll try the what was it? The
passion fruit mojito.
Yes, passion fruit mojito. And it was.
Do you have to drink that with your pinky extended? Is it a fancy drink?
I did when I sampled it. I was like, can I try that?
No, I just slurped it.
Yeah, she slurped it. And then the wonderful bartender was like, would you like another one? And she looks at me and she was like, are you driving? And I said, yes, I am. And she goes, I will have another one. And I'm in my head, I'm doing the airplane thing. Leslie never has a second mojito at home. Well, they were generous pours.
Very generous.
So by the end of the night, I had to pour her into our car. And so English Beat came on, and she's over there just, save it for later, save it for later, save it. And I was like, it's a good tune. Let me turn it up. And she's still, save it for later. And she's so drunk, she's just saying the same words over and over. It was hilarious.
Whatever works.
Good
yes,
times.
I've had many a vicious evening with Long Island iced teas that were way too strong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They go down so smooth.
Right?
And then they hit you.
I tucked her into bed when we got home, and she slept really well.
Nice.
Over 12 hours.
Those must have been really good drinks.
Yep. Boat drinks, as they say. A lot of good boat drinks.
Now we're on to your list.
We're on to my list.
Yeah. And very interesting place to start, because I kind of live in a banana republic. I'm in Guatemala. It definitely fits. When you look at the historical context of what was going on, interestingly, this is one that Jimmy Buffett did not write, but kind of made his own. This came from Steve Goodman. Steve Goodman wrote and recorded this, but most people don't know his version of the song, which is good. But when Jimmy Buffett got a hold of it, he's like, "This, I should have written this because it sounds just like me." And as a matter of fact, they were buddies. They both had performed, I think, in the same, like the Coconut Crab or some goofy named little bar down in St. Croix. And it's just like, it's what you do, man. It's like, this is the kind of place. It's like you just bring your guitar, and some bar somewhere will let you play, and you might get some free drinks out of it. If nothing else, you'll have a crowd and you'll have a fun time. And thus the song became a thing, and very neat. There are some interesting, I mean, when you dig under the surface about, what was going on in the world at the time when this song came out, it's like, there's a lot of these places in the world where there's not much of an economy there. It's either tourism, bananas, or some other citrus or something. There's not a whole lot going on. So there's usually copious amounts of rum, some good music, and a sandy beach somewhere to hang out.
And some crazy expats that are just hiding
Indeed. There's a lot of us, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's one of those that I think this is my goal of where we're going to end up for retirement,
Nice.
And it's just a nice sunny.
I'd be all right with St. Croix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a very laid back song. I mean, I can be so wound up and this song can just come on and I'm just, okay. It's going to be okay.
Yep. And it does. It kind of tells the story of the expat. It's like, this is the dream a lot of us chase. We don't always catch it because the reality sometimes is not as fun. I bought a house down here and it's like, yeah, this is nice. I'm ready to settle down. And it's like, the plumbing leaks and then there's this thing and then that thing breaks. And then, it's the same crap you left at home. You just brought it with you.
Yeah.
Just
I'm sleeping in the bed with the lizard. Hey, what's that?
Yeah. We have geckos all over. Yeah, and iguanas. Good stuff. This one is a fun one. Great video. I love the video for this that they've done.
Yes.
It's kind of a recent it just captures the spirit of it. Being a scuba diver, obviously this is a meaningful one to you. I mean, bubbles up means something.
Yep.
Definitely for diving safety. If you're in trouble and you don't know which way is up, which can happen underwater.
Yeah, you can
follow the bubbles.
Yeah.
And you don't go faster than the bubbles
And
either.
that's also your
tells you how fast to go or not go.
If you're going faster than your bubbles, it's not going to be good. Slow your ass down.
You'll be feeling it when you get up to the surface, but
get really expensive.
He was, Jimmy Buffett was definitely one who was very familiar with, survival training and being in the water, and kind of drew on that when he wrote this as kind of a, hey man, when things are rough, look for the signs, figure out what you need to do, keep a level head, and you'll come out of it okay. It's like, that's talk about words to live by.
Yeah.
Well, and I think he lived this even up to the very end, because he didn't come out with this song until the last year or so, after he had been fighting the cancer and all of that. And, there's a lot to look for. Keep your head up and you move on, because it's all going to be okay no matter what the outcome is. Right.
Yep. Kind of like the old Douglas Adams thing of the Hitchhiker's Guide. It's like, it says don't panic on the cover for a reason. That's step one.
Yeah, step one.
Yeah.
I like that this did come from his survival training that he had to go to, because he was going to fly out to a carrier to do a show. And that meant that he had to go through helicopter, ditching survival training where they, stick you in the pool, knock the lights out, and rotate you, turn you upside down. You got to figure it out. But the fact that he flipped his seaplane many years later,
it saved him, I'm sure.
Yeah, saved his bacon for that. I remember getting the coconut telegraph when that was a thing.
Yeah.
And on the cover was like, he's okay, and literally there's his plane upside down, and you're like, go.
Yeah.
Yep. Before the internet.
Another awesome thing about Jimmy was it didn't matter what, he could be stuck in traffic and he'd make a song about it. And it would be great.
And you feel good about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I think that's next on our list is the actual album, Coconut Telegraph.
Coconut Telegraph. And this song, oh gosh, it has so many meanings. So at our wedding, this is what my dad and I danced to. And
nice.
I've got an older brother, that's Pete's age, but I was his first girl, and we have a connection. And so hearing these songs, it kind of resonated with me. And as we had our own child and we raised her, she listened to the same song. And so
she's a good parrot head.
She's a good parrot
for
head.
a 22-year-old.
Yeah.
You raised her right.
Yes.
We raised her right. She and Pete danced to this song. And then at the end, they look over at me and they're like, "Get
Leslie's
your butt out
Leslie's
here."
like bawling,
Oh, yeah.
and happy.
My two people right out there.
And we're like, "Get in here!" So we did it. We finished the song as a trio dancing together.
Yeah, it's like no matter how old you are, you're always daddy's little girl. And this
Yeah.
song just it hits you in the feels.
Yeah.
If you've ever had children, you understand the idea of legacy. Jimmy just looked at his daughter, and said, "Wow, she has this beautiful carefree spirit. Here we are living in, basically living on a boat in the middle of nowhere, and she's just living this life, and this is all she knows, and she's happy."
Yeah. She's
very happy.
And one cool little note about him, he did write a song for each of his 3 kids.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that was one thing he wanted to do for each of them, and each one of them does have one.
Yep. And this is Savannah's song, Little Miss Magic.
Mm-hmm. He did another one for Savannah too.
Oh yeah, it's more about
it's as she's grown
being
older and
post college, and she's going off, fairly well.
And
Yeah. It for every good, sipping on a boat drink, enjoying the sand kind of song, he writes some really deep poetry. Like you said, he's very much a Hemingway style.
Mm-hmm.
He understands the human condition, and he's very eloquent in the way he puts that across.
It's a Key West life. If you've ever visited Key West, it's a Key West kind of life.
Yeah, because it is just the Key West is just this menagerie of folks and happenings, and we've been there many a time. We've got friends that live down there, and even now, and we try to make it back when we can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just a great melting pot of humanity.
Yeah, it's very much it reminds me of the vibe in the country next door in Belize. There's a lot of English expats because that used to be a British holding. So if you want a good pint of Guinness, you can go over to Belize and get that. And a lot of fun places to hang out, and just the ebb and flow of different people from different cultures who just say, you know what, I got tired of wearing a suit, living in a cubicle, and I'm happy here. It's like,
yep,
I'll drink to that. Sure.
Yeah. That's cool.
And speaking of legacy type artists, Kenny Chesney, very much a fan of Parrot Head vibes, and this one's cool. I'm not a huge football fan, but you can't help but enjoy this, especially if you watch the video with it. When you hear the rally cry of the coach in the locker room, and given the pep talk, it's like, oh man, this is so cool.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say, are you all tailgaters? You like to go out and do the sports thing when you can?
We do.
Here and there.
This one comes from. Here's where you'll find the deep, dark little past of Leslie. I grew up in Oklahoma. Born there, raised, and Oklahoma's big, huge on football. And so this reminds me of the younger years when we would go to the football games, the high school football games, because that's where everyone in the town went. You traveled to some of the close cities, as the visiting team, and my brother was a football player, and it just reminds me of all that goodness that we had, and it just kind of strikes me, and it does remind me of the high school days. Pete didn't have a football team where they were.
Sure, rub it in. They do now.
They do now, and they're pretty good at it. But at the
I don't know why I'm seeing you as a water polo kind of guy, but you probably were landlocked as a kid.
No, he was the discus.
Yeah, discus. I threw things.
Nice.
He threw things and far. But yeah, I mean that game day jerseys walking down the hall. It's what the football team did, and it just represented a community. So
Oh yeah,
And
I grew up
plus
in a little town, and the football boosters club. It's like the parents were more crazy than the kids. It's like when
Yes.
it's game day coming up, all the parents have got the jerseys on, and they're out there. And God forbid you say anything bad about the quarterback, and that's their son. They'll whoop you right there in the sun.
Oh yeah, yeah. Our daughter was a swimmer, and at the school she was at, it was big. The football team got everything. They got the
fancy
field,
the new scoreboard,
the
AstroTurf field.
Yeah. And we were like, can't you just like give a little bit to the swim team?
Like, here's some chlorine tabs.
That's it.
You're lucky you can swim in that water.
They got to ride on the fancy bus one time, and then it broke down.
I think the thing about the song and the intro and everything like that is that the finality. This is the last time you're going to do this, and when you're told those things when you're young, people are telling you this, because I'm telling my children this stuff now, and because from a different perspective, like you understand what the coach means, and you can see the kids acknowledging it, but they don't understand that,
right?
Like, life,
the heaviness of this,
like how heavy that really is, that final time, and it's a moment you can't ever get back, and for that reason, even though like it hits you. It really does. Like, especially at this age, you really you understand both sides of it, and you just you kind of, I don't know. I lost.
But yeah, Boys of Fall. It's a fan favorite. You can't go to a sporting event and not hear it somewhere. And who wouldn't love this album, because it's called Hemingway's Whiskey. It's like I'd buy it just for the name of that dang album.
And that's a great song too. That's another great song.
I'll take a couple shots of that.
Right? Sure. That's like Tupelo Honey.
Yes.
Another great band. Also, connects to the lineage of Mr. Buffett. Zach Brown. You can't listen to Zach Brown band and not see the influence of Jimmy Buffett and a lot of their stuff.
That one show that they played together.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
That was a good mix.
Yeah.
They definitely compliment and there was love. These guys love to be on stage. They love their craft. It's not about fame. It's not about fortune. It's about, are we having fun tonight?
Yep. And that's what draws. I mean, that's what draws me to them. I mean, they want to have fun. I want to have fun. I don't want to move around and all of that stuff. But toes. I mean, it just makes me want to be on a beach with my toes in the sand. And
so we'll be at Will's house, sometime tomorrow afternoon.
We'll see you then, Will.
If we leave after this.
Or Jim, we may catch a flight.
Yeah, we could catch a flight.
Oh yeah, I'll pick
plenty of sand, plenty of cold beer. That's right.
Yeah.
And it is 5:00 somewhere, so
right.
Always.
It's always a great time for a cold brewski.
Yep.
Will, were you familiar with Zach Brown? Is this something that was new to you?
Was as soon as it came out, I was like, did you just say what? Ass in the sand? Okay.
Yep.
That's somewhere I could be. Yeah, not a worry in the world. A cold beer in my hand. Sure. Not as eloquent or, as a lot of these artists, they'll kind of hint around stuff. He just gets right down to business.
Brass
ass beer.
Yeah. All that matters.
Park it, pop it.
I like it.
Yep. Claim your steak on the grill and then stake your claim in the sand. You're good to go.
That's right.
Yeah. You can have an umbrella above you and one in your hand.
There it is. But I'd never really thought about the reggae undertones until I listened to this again. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's in there.
It's there.
It's there.
And he really strikes me, Zach does, as a showman like Buffett. When you watch him play, I mean, he is in that note. He's not just like, oh, this is the 100th time I've played it.
No, he enjoys it every single time, it seems.
Yep.
Yeah. It's, again, it's like, he had to get tired of playing Margaritaville, but you didn't see it on his face. When he went and played, he played Margaritaville every time, and he smiled.
I think he was like, watch this crowd go from, like they're already raucous to watch them just go bananas when I start this.
And some artists, they shy away from that, or they're like, I'm not playing that song, but man, lean into it. That's why people are there. It's fun, And,
was it 8 songs? 5 or 8 songs that were must plays at every.
It's like 5.
I think it's 5.
Yeah.
And he and his daughter Delaney had went into it over during COVID. They did songs you don't know by heart. So they dug into a lot of the
nice.
It's on YouTube. It's a great thing.
Yeah, it's a good series.
Which a lot of my favorites were being played then just because they're not the ordinary and all of that. But they talked about how they had these certain songs that they knew they had to play because some of the fans only knew those songs. But he enjoyed sharing the other ones for the true parrot heads that no matter what he sang, they would know that deep catalog. And as a Buffett fan, we listened to Buffett mainly for many years.
Yeah.
Because that's what we had CDs for. We didn't have the variety for Spotify or Pandora or
like
one of the things we love about doing this show. I mean, Will and I have pretty eclectic tastes. We'll go everywhere from glam rock to modern stuff to something heavy, and everywhere in between. And at different stages in life, you're listening to different things, different vibes. But always came back to Jimmy Buffett, especially on a bad day. Just can't help but put on a good, Jimmy Buffett album. And it's like, all right. When I was in high school, that was one of my buddies. I was going through a bad breakup with a gal, and I went over to his house, and Kevin snuck a beer out of his dad's fridge that was in the garage, and he handed me a beer, and he put on Jimmy Buffett, and he says, beer and beach music, that cures everything. It's like, dude,
sad for your soul.
Yeah, sure did.
He's got a song that is talking about when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans, and it's called Breathe In, Breathe Out, Move On.
Mm-hmm.
And we've even got like an acronym at work. It's BIBOMO. Okay, you just got to breathe in, breathe out, and you got to move on because it's got to keep going, and you're going to make it through.
That is awesome. And I have to say, and this is probably, this is something that's well known within our little plastic loving community, but y'all have a beautiful, infectious, positive vibe. When you come on somebody's show or somebody sees you at a convention or whatever, everybody lights up. It's like, oh, Scubas here. Oh, he's probably, yay.
We are who we are.
We are who we are.
Yeah.
We're the same on here as we are if we're hanging out eating a pizza.
I gotta catch me some of that in my hella dope mug here and mix it up.
Keep rubbing it in, Will. Our buddies at Hella Dope kindly made this handmade mug. They're Simi Skies, the daughter of Ted Darklaw, makes these, and I was one of the proud recipients. But because of my shipping woes with getting things to Guatemala right now, Will has been getting a lot of my packages, and he's really enjoying rubbing in the fact that he has the mug.
Oh yeah, that's right. It says Largo on it. Oops, I thought it said Will. I'm sorry.
He's gonna scratch that off and just put Will. It's fine.
little painter's tape.
Will.
That's right.
I can help you with that, Will.
So yeah, having fun, but yeah, it is infectious, and I'll tell you, the playlist, it definitely changed my mood and made a otherwise terrible day, and I gotta say thank you for that, and I look forward to that's what I probably need in my life. I'm listening to the song and I'm like, yeah, that's me. I'm pretty carefree. I try to be this way, but certain factors that creep in and ruin your joy. You gotta let it just kind of roll off. And
I call them in-laws and outlaws. They show up at the weirdest times and never when you need them.
Yeah.
Very true.
Very
But-
true.
Yeah, this was fun. I love this
That was
playlist.
great.
Please come
Yeah.
again. Please bring more music. I know 10 is never enough, but we try to
Right.
fit it within, an hour format. Leslie, if you want to come on and talk Purple Pie Man and Strawberry Shortcake, we'll do a show.
Okay. Let's go.
Yeah. There isn't a vintage line that Pete can't talk about for an hour. So I'm sure we can obviously find something to jaw about at some point. So
Oh yeah.
whatever you guys want to do, whenever you want to do it, let us know. We'll throw a show together. So
Yeah, thank you.
enough said.
Anytime.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
It's been a blast.
We love this because it reminds us of great music, and sometimes we learn about artists we didn't know. So
Mhm.
we have a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
cool to do
same.
this with the toy community because it's like, yeah, we talk toys, but that's not our whole lives. We got other
Right.
interests, and it's fun
Yeah,
to
it's like,
see.
what do you throw on
Yeah,
when you're in
what-
the toy room? What do you listen to?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a cool way to get a different aspect of some fun people we love hanging with. So thanks for doing that. Will,
Thank
what do
you.
we got coming up? Anything cool, special, nifty? I don't know.
He's gonna go for the Hello Dope mug.
What's coming up? Let me take a sip and think about it.
You're subtle as a
well-
sledgehammer.
This Sunday we have listen, man, this Wampa juice, it just gets me all worked up. I don't know what it is about it. But it's a good drink. So this Sunday we have, or well, most Sundays, because this is going to air after next Sunday. So yeah, I don't know. Sundays, the 118, things other than that in between, and you'll see us around.
Indeed. I do have a challenge I threw out to Scuba at some point. We're working on storytelling is kind of the thing in the layer this year. We're doing a show called Operation Brainstorm, where the premise is if you were going to pitch a 1980s TV show, be it sitcom or Kids Saturday Morning, how would you do that? And how would you do it with your toys? And Lord knows you got plenty to choose from. It will be interesting to see what your pitch would be. I could totally see, a very interesting Scubas sitcom somewhere in there. But,
I'm working on a buddy cop show with Goro and Canstruck. They're both completely different backgrounds, but somehow they found something in common. So they're
that's beautiful. And that's the whole idea. It's like, have fun with your toys, man. I love to see guys. We've had a lot of friends over the last year that we got to know from a place called the Axis of Awesome. And they do a lot of photo stories where they take the big fuzzy head Kung Fu grip GI Joes and tell new stories with those guys. And so it's like, yeah, but let's do that with different scales and different toy lines that would never go together. And let's go mash up and have some fun.
Mash it up.
That's it. So you're welcome to join us on that if you will. It's something we'll be trying new this year.
Definitely.
We're doing Retro Nuevo is a new show where we're going back and hitting some of the oddballs from the pulp fiction era and Penny Dreadfuls, some characters you may have never heard of and some you've heard in passing. So we're going to check out some of that. Some have even had toys, but very few. So yeah, we're all over the board, but storytelling is the theme this year. So we're looking whether you're telling stories with your toys or stories about your toys or whatnot. That's where we're going.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I know you guys are doing some new journeys for your Scubas show. You've been to jolly old England. You're going to revisit some friends there again.
Yeah, that's coming up this spring again. Well,
It is. We've got about 3 or 4 more videos that we're still trying to work through.
from the last trip.
From the last trip. We gotta get some before we go again.
The next one up will be we just did a toy hunt on the Scubas. And
nice.
it's a long one.
It's actually up.
Nice.
Yeah, it's up. That one's up.
It's up.
And but the next one up is a day with Bob Breakin.
Ooh,
wow.
nice.
In England.
Yeah.
Yep. And around the Palatoy factory site.
Yeah.
So that'll be our next Scubas
Nice.
video.
That must have been amazing.
Cool.
Wow.
Mind-blowing.
We've mentioned. I know Stu has some sort of a charity stream coming up in March. I'm assuming you'll be a part of that.
Definitely.
So we're looking forward to that.
Many times, especially because he chastised me last year at 3 a.m. I fell asleep. 3 a.m. Eastern, I fell asleep. Yeah. I mean, shame on me. And he was like, he was texting me like, "Hey, you want to come on?" And he was like, "Where were you when I needed you the most?" And I'm like, "It was 3 a.m." So,
That's
yes.
hilarious.
Man has limits. But yeah,
Right?
we love Stu. We love Shabby, that whole gang. Plus, all the stuff you do with, chasing 80s. Those guys are fun too.
Oh yeah, the new room tour coming up because a lot's changed in here. So
Talking about a possible live stream.
yeah, we might. Leslie and I might dabble in the old live stream.
Oh, that would be
all the cool
wonderful.
kids are doing it.
All the cool kids.
Yeah.
We're gonna join.
That's true. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you have enough charisma to carry that. No, of course you do. You guys are fun to hang out with.
It's gonna be a lot of dead air.
That would be a hoot.
Yeah.
As my grandpappy used to say, that's it. It'd be chock full of hoot with just a little bit of nanny. It'd be hoot nanny.
That's good.
Nice.
Oh.
Well, we've kept these kind people way too long because we could talk all night. I just love hanging with you guys, but I know you got stuff to do, and we're gonna put all this to bed and go find another tasty beverage of some sort. I got to check what's in the fridge, but yeah, man, this was fun. It's always fun hanging with y'all, and I'm finding the outro button. There it is. Oh, stop it, Will. You're so mean.
Hey,
Emotional damage.
I start singing Dr. Love.
Dr. Love.
Dr. Love.
I'm seeing
Thanks,
white
guys.
lab coat, kabuki makeup, platform shoes at Joe Fest. It's going to be a thing.
It's gonna happen.
That's right.
Friday night.
Yeah, Cobra karaoke. Yeah, we could do that.
There it is. Well, everybody have a great night. We will definitely have the Scubas back on the Infinite playlist, and who knows where else at some point in the very near future. Everybody have a great night. I'm going to play us out. God bless jazz.
We gon' break up, then we make up. Act like we're gonna be friends. Blaze the fire, take me higher. Leave it all over again, all over again. Leave it all over again, all over again. Leave it all over again. We gon' break up, then we make up. Act like we're gonna be friends. Blaze the fire, take me high.